Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos.
Everyone talks about OEMs, but the real movement in Mexico is happening behind them. Tier 1 suppliers like Bosch, Zifi, British Happen, Magna, International, Continental, and Denso are expanding their operations across Mexico. These are the companies that actually build plants, secure industrial space, and anchor entire supply chains. Across the Bajío and northern Mexico, industrial parks are tightening as these suppliers move quickly to position themselves close to production hubs. And here's the key. Many of these expansions are happening before they are even publicly announced. This is not just growth, it's a race to secure position. At Gesher Group, we help companies secure that position, from land to industrial parks to construction and full soft landing. Because in this market, if you are late, you're out. Stay tuned with Gesher Group. Mexico's industrial real estate market continues tightening as global manufacturers expand their footprint across the country. In Querétaro, companies like Vogel, Nude Machine Tools, and Oilcon are expanding operations, reinforcing the region's advanced manufacturing ecosystem. Meanwhile, in Monterrey, Maxon Live completed its second manufacturing facility, adding more than 422,000 square feet of industrial capacity. Automotive, aerospace, electronics, and technical manufacturing continues driving demand for industrial space across regions like Nuevo León, Guanajuato, and Querétaro. And here is the key. Nuevo León alone currently manages a pipeline of nearly 120 investment projects totaling more than $46 billion US. This is not temporary momentum, it's a structural industrial expansion. At Gesher Group, we help companies secure strategic positioning in Mexico, from land acquisition to industrial parks to construction and soft landing. Stay tuned with Gesher Everyone Group. Talks about nearshoring, foreign investment, and new factories coming into Mexico. But one of the biggest challenges today is energy. Across key industrial regions like Monterrey, Querétaro, the Bajío, industrial demand is growing faster than electrical infrastructure. Manufacturers are no longer evaluating only labor and logistics. They are now asking critical questions about power capacity, grid reliability, natural gas access, and long-term energy availability. Mexico itself plans to invest more than 140 billion pesos in new gas pipelines infrastructure over the next 4 years to support industrial growth and power generation. And here's the key. Industrial land without sufficient energy capacity may lose competitiveness even in strategic locations. This is becoming one of the most important factors in industrial real estate and site selection. At Gesher Group, we help companies identify locations with the infrastructure needed for long-term industrial operations, because today energy is strategic. Stay tuned with Gesher Group. Mexico's industrial growth is no longer driven only by highways and trucking. Rail connectivity is becoming one of the most strategic advantages in North America. With the integration of Canadian Pacific Kansas City, better known as CPKC, companies now have a single rail network connecting Canada, United States, and Mexico. This is transforming industrial real estate and site selection. Manufacturers and logistic operators are increasingly looking for rail-served industrial land, intermodal access, and faster cargo movement across North America. Regions connected to major rail corridors, especially along Highway 57, the Bajío, and northern Mexico, are gaining strategic importance for manufacturing and distribution. And here is the key. Rail access is no longer just a logistics advantage, it's becoming a competitive requirement. At Gesher Group, we help companies identify industrial locations with strategic infrastructure, from land to rail connectivity to industrial development and soft landing. Because in today's market, connectivity is everything. Stay tuned. Mexico has one corridor that is becoming the backbone of its industrial growth, High 57. Stretching from Mexico City through Querétaro, San Luis Potosí, and Monterrey, this corridor connects some of the country's strongest manufacturing and logistics hubs. Automotive, aerospace, electronics, steel, and advanced manufacturing companies rely on this route to move goods efficiently across North America. And here's why it matters. Highway 57 is not just a road. It connects industrial parks, rail infrastructure, major airports, and access to the U.S. market. Cities like Querétaro, Guanajuato, and San Luis Potosí continue attracting investment precisely because of their strategic position along this corridor. As nearshoring accelerates, locations with direct Highway 57 access are becoming increasingly valuable for industrial operations and distribution. At Gesher Group, we help companies secure strategic positioning along Mexico's main industrial corridor, from land to industrial development to full soft landing services. Because in today's market, connectivity drives competitiveness. Stay tuned with Gesher Group. Not all industrial buildings are created equal. In Mexico's industrial real estate market, there are two main options: spec buildings and build-to-suit facilities. A spec building is constructed before a tenant is secured. Companies can move in quickly, making it ideal when speed is the priority. But increasingly, manufacturers are choosing another route: build-to-suit. These facilities are designed specifically for a company's operation, incorporating customs, power requirements, production layouts, automatization systems, logistics flows, and future expansion needs. And here's why this matters. As industrial vacancy remains low across key markets, many companies can't find existing buildings that meet their requirements. Instead, they are securing land and developing facilities tailored to their exact needs. This trend is specifically visible in automotive, aerospace, electronics, and advanced manufacturing sectors. The question is no longer, where can I find a space? The question is, what facility will support my business for the next 10 years? At Gesher Group, we help companies evaluate both options, from site selection and land acquisition to build-to-suit development and soft landing, because choosing the right facility can be as important as choosing the right market. Stay tuned with Gesher Group.
Let's talk real numbers, because Mexico's growth is backed by capital. In 2023, Mexico reached over $36 billion in foreign direct investment, and 2024 confirmed that level again. Then in 2025, the trend held even stronger, with nearshoring continuing to drive capital into manufacturing and industrial real estate, reaching $40.8 billion. States like Nuevo León are capturing up to $3 to $4 billion annually, while Querétaro, Guanajuato, and San Luis Potosí continue attracting between $1 and $2 billion each. And here is the key. According to AMPIP, industrial parks are operating at high occupancy, with demand still outpacing supply. This is not project growth. This is capital already being deployed. At Gesher, we help companies positioning themselves where this investment is actually landing, from land acquisitions to industrial parks to construction and soft landing. Because in today's market, following the capital is everything. Stay tuned with Gesher Group.
Have you noticed that more and more global companies are choosing Mexico to expand their operations? Well, it's not slowing down. In 2026, Mexico continues attracting billions of dollars in foreign direct investment, especially in industrial manufacturing, logistics, automobile, aerospace, and electronics. And one region keeps standing out above the rest: the Bajío. States like Querétaro, Guanajuato, San Luis Potosí, and Nuevo León are becoming strategic industrial hubs for North America. Why? Because companies want proximity to the United States, access to the USMCA markets, skilled labor, strong logistics, and modern industrial infrastructure. Querétaro alone captures almost half of the industrial demand generated by 4 new international companies arriving to Mexico during the first quarter of 2026. And we're not talking about small players. German giants like Siemens, Gesher Group, Hansaflex, and Vibra Acoustic recently announced new investment in Querétaro, worth more than 2.3 billion pesos. At the same time, AMPIP projects more than $5.8 billion in industrial parks investment across Mexico during 2026, a 36% increase versus last year. This is why industrial land logistics facilities and Class A industrial parks are becoming more valuable than ever. Mexico is not longer just a manufacturing alternative. It is becoming one of the main industrial platforms for North America. And at Gesher Group, we help companies find the right location, industrial parks, and opportunities and strategic facilities to grow in Mexico, because the nearshoring wave is already here. Stay tuned with Gesher Group. Mexico continues attracting major foreign investment, and the momentum is accelerating. Japanese company Siren Vascotech has begun construction of a new plant in Guanajuato with an investment of roughly 800 million pesos, strengthening the Bajío automotive cluster. At the same time, Doosan Bobcat announced a $300 million investment in Nuevo León to manufacture wheel loader for export. Between March and April alone, announced investments in Mexico surpassed 1.6 billion US dollars, heavily concentrating in automotive and advanced manufacturing. And it doesn't stop there. Companies like Bosch, Kia, Yasaki, and Hyundai and Kia continue expanding operations across the country. This is no longer about future expectations. Capital is already moving into Mexico. At Gesher Group, we help companies positioning themselves where this growth is actually happening, from land to industrial facilities to full soft landing services. Stay tuned with Gesher Group. Most people see Mexico industrial growth through the lens of Monterrey and the Bajío. And for good reason, Monterrey remains one of the country's largest manufacturing hubs. The Bajío continues attracting automotive, aerospace, and advanced manufacturing investment. But now there is a new development that could strengthen both regions even further. The Interoceanic Corridor is connecting the posts of Salinas Cruz and Coatzacoalcos through rail, highways, and industrial development zones. The goal is simple: move goods faster between the Pacific and the Gulf of Mexico while creating new industrial capacity. And here's why companies in Monterrey, Querétaro, Guanajuato, and San Luis Potosí should pay attention. The corridor could create additional logistics options, diversified supply chains, and strengthen Mexico's overall competitiveness as a manufacturing platform. As industrial activity expands, strategic locations along Highway 57 and the Bajío corridor becomes even more valuable. At Gesher, we help companies identify industrial land, facilities, and expansion opportunities in some of Mexico's most strategic regions, including the Bajío and northern Mexico. Because infrastructure creates opportunities, but locations capture value. Stay tuned with Gesher Group.
Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos.